Nicola Sturgeon has been accused of gifting the EU a second bite at Scotland's once thriving fishing industry. The Scottish First Minister's determination to keep her country inside the European Union would mean coastal communities missing out on a huge business boost, according to campaign group Fishing for Leave. Allies of Ms Sturgeon have conceded the Scottish National Party would happily join the EU's common fisheries policy as part of the plan. This would cost Scotland's economy a share of an expected boost of nearly £2 billion to Britain's fishing industry after Brexit, according to the campaign group's figures. A Fishing for Leave spokesman said, "It's not a question of if the EU takes Scotland's fisheries but how much. The SNP is gifting the EU a second bite at robbing even more from our waters than the 60% they already do now. That would flatten what's left of our once thriving coastal communities." They warned that because fishing has a more significant role to play in Scotland's economy, rejoining the EU would hurt Scotland's economy more than the rest of the UK. Fishing for Leave claimed that herring could provide a £300 million adrenaline boost from Plymouth to Unst. Inside the EU, member states commit to joining the Commons Fisheries Policy, which sets out the rules governing fishing across the bloc to manage fish stocks, fleets, and includes setting of quotas. In the event of a no-deal Brexit, EU fishermen will instantly lose their rights to access British waters until a deal is struck between Westminster and Brussels. The European Commission have told the remaining member states that they will attempt to strike up a specific arrangement with the UK to secure the bloc's trawlermen access to British waters. The Brussels-based executive published last month a so-called contingency regulation to allow to handle authorization requests for EU boats to access UK waters. In a stark warning, a paper warns, the Commission reiterates the importance of a coordinated approach of the EU 27 member states to prepare for the possibility that EU vessels no longer have access to UK waters. Officials are ready to financially prop up fishing firms to help mitigate the impact of being barred from British waters, but said this would only be a temporary measure. But instead Eurocrats will focus on striking a deal that allows EU boats into the UK's fishing territories. The Commission says, if the United Kingdom leaves the European Union without an agreement on the 31st of October, the implications on setting fishing opportunities for 2020 will need to be considered at the appropriate moment. Fishing for Leave believe the UK would be better suited with a Norway-styled fisheries arrangement with the EU. This would allow the government to hold annual negotiations to give the UK sovereignty over its fishing stocks. The Fishing for Leave spokesman said, "The new government must not squander this multi-billion-pound opportunity of repatriating our resources with the clean slate of leaving the EU. They must not roll over current access and resource shares as Stephen Barclay admitted Theresa May intended to do. Instead, the UK must exercise exclusive sovereignty and only grant limited annual access and resource swaps where their UK receives a reciprocal value of fishing opportunities. Anything else is a sellout of taking back control. Boris Johnson must stick to his words that we will take control of fishing and won't trade it away." He said it was reprehensible what Edward Heath did, and now Boris has the chance to exorcise that legacy and be judged against his own very clear words.